I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all. I'm 5 years out the ring. I'm a kickball.
Joe Rogan just revealed why Jake Paul turned down Andrew Tate's massive fight offer, including a $3 million payday. According to Rogan, Jake didn't just reject the fight, he completely dismissed the opportunity. The question on everyone's mind: is Jake afraid of losing, or does he only fight when the odds are in his favor? Rogan suggests Jake's career might be more carefully managed than fans realize, pointing to a strategy of picking fights that are safe and lucrative. The whole situation is full of drama, with savage call-outs from Tate and a dose of truth about Jake's play-it-safe approach to boxing. Get ready for a deep dive into this high-stakes drama. Jake Paul claims to take on all challengers, yet when Andrew Tate, a former kickboxing champion, called him out with a $3 million bet and an anytime, anywhere challenge, Jake hesitated. Instead of stepping up, he seemed to scramble for an excuse.
As a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know?
Come on, fight. Make it.
20 seconds. Come on, 20 seconds to walk. Let's go. Come on, work. Work. 10 seconds. Work.
Revealing his reluctance to face legitimate competition. Tate, known for pushing buttons, wasn't playing games, and the internet took notice. The contrast was clear. Jake's bravado crumbled when a real test showed up. If there's a handbook on dodging competition while claiming to be the best, Jake Paul probably wrote it. Joe Rogan and Andrew Tate are the perfect voices to expose him for his avoidance of genuine challenges.
Yeah, he'll never do that though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract, and two,
he's not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better. He might.
And it's funny to say, like, yo, Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul and will never.
Then came Jake's incredible comeback against Mike Tyson, the 57-year-old retired legend, who hasn't been at his best since the days of Vosh recordings. In his infinite wisdom, Jake concluded that rather than take on someone like Andrew Tate, who is not only in fighting shape but also unpredictable in his threat, it would be wiser to box Tyson. Yes, it was a premeditated maneuver, but fear was the one thing that stood out the most. He is incapable of engaging in a planned battle with Andrew Tate, as we all know.
Somebody like me, he'd mentioned me before, and there'll be people out there saying, oh, Carl Froch's talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems with my finance.
Jake Paul's boxing career has been marked by strategic matchmaking, with a clear pattern of avoiding real competition. He's faced opponents like retired MMA fighters with little boxing experience, and former basketball players, easier targets that protect his record. Now, he's targeting Tyson, a retired heavyweight whose fame sells tickets, but whose age and diminished speed pose little danger. This strategy has become so transparent that even Jake's die-hard fans are starting to notice. Joe Rogan called him out on his podcast, pointing out that Jake consistently avoids fighters who could actually challenge him. Rogan specifically mentioned Jake's reluctance to face Andrew Tate, who was younger, faster, and far more unpredictable than anyone Jake has fought so far. Rogan's assessment suggests that Jake is more concerned with preserving his undefeated record than proving himself as a legitimate boxer. This pattern of cherry-picking opponents and avoiding tough challenges reveals the true nature of Jake Paul's boxing career, more about spectacle and less about testing his limits.
So when you see some of these crossover fights, obviously I know that you and Jake Paul have had your disagreements. Do you think that Jake's gotten better as a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know.
Andrew Tate is far from just another internet personality. As a former kickboxing world champion, he's built on a foundation of real fighting experience, and his challenge to Jake Paul was more than a publicity stunt. It was a clear declaration of intent. When Tate offered Paul a $3 million bet, it wasn't a joke. It was a challenge he knew Paul wouldn't accept. The stakes weren't just financial, it was about exposing Paul's reliance on scripted matches. When Paul ignored the call-out, Tate didn't back down. He doubled down, pointing out a brutal truth. There's a massive difference between being trained and being a true fighter. Tate's message was clear. Real fighters dominate amateurs, and Paul's whole career hinges on facing opponents he can control. Tate's call-out wasn't just a challenge, it was a challenge to Jake's entire existence in the ring.
Brothers, one cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beats. I'm really trying not to. But
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
Don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful. But of course, I have absolute faith in myself and my brother, and I know what we've been through, and I know the kind of men we are.
Jake Paul's silence after Andrew Tate's second challenge was deafening, especially for someone who usually never shuts up about hyping his fights. Fans, who had been eagerly anticipating a Paul Tate showdown, were left confused and disappointed. Jake, known for his brash persona and constant trash talking, suddenly had nothing to say. If it feels like Jake just got rocked by a verbal combo, you wouldn't be wrong. This saga is delivering more blows than Jake ever will in the ring. Let's break it down. Jake Paul's decision to fight Mike Tyson instead of Andrew Tate was all about safety. Sure, Tyson is a boxing legend, but at 57 years old, he's well past his prime. Jake knew he could control the narrative in a Tyson fight. Tyson's name would sell pay-per-views, but the match was never really a challenge. It was a carefully curated spectacle, a way to keep Jake's undefeated record intact. In contrast, Andrew Tate is a completely different beast. In his mid-30s, Tate is in peak physical condition, with years of combat sports experience. He's unpredictable, skilled, and most importantly, not someone who would play Jake's game. A fight with Tate would not only put Jake's record at risk but also expose him as the hobbyist he is. Tate doesn't fit into Jake's carefully controlled narrative. Joe Rogan didn't hold back when discussing Jake's decision to face Tyson instead of Tate. According to Rogan, Jake doesn't want to fight Tate because he can't control him. And he's right, Jake's entire career has been built on controlling the spectacle, the narrative, and his opponents. But Tate represents the one thing Jake can't control, a real challenge. Jake thought his fans wouldn't notice his dodge, but he was mistaken. Social media exploded with criticism, and the backlash was brutal. Fans called him a coward and a fraud. Even some of Jake's supporters admitted that choosing Tyson over Tate was a poor decision. The internet never forgets, and this move could haunt Jake for the rest of his career.
Why don't you lose to an old man who's retired? I live in the real fucking world, Jake. There's a whole bunch of fighters out here who live in the real fucking world. Men who are dangerous and dedicated their lives to this sport and don't have a fucking fraction of the money you have because you managed to become a fucking clown.
Jake Paul's decision to reject Andrew Tate's fight offer has sparked a wave of criticism from fans, especially those loyal to Tate, who eagerly joined the chorus of taunts flooding Jake's social media. Many reminded him of his refusal to face a legitimate fighter like Tate. Tate, ever the opportunist, capitalized on the situation, calling Jake out for being scared and reiterating his challenge. This became a masterclass in psychological warfare, with Jake left without a solid response. Joe Rogan added fuel to the fire by dismantling Jake's strategy. He exposed how Jake has been avoiding younger, competitive opponents. Rogan's analysis was hard to dispute. Every fighter Jake has faced so far has been either past their prime, out of their weight class, or simply out of their depth in the ring. Facing Andrew Tate would have given Jake the perfect opportunity to silence critics and prove he's more than just a YouTuber with a decent punch. Instead, he chose the easy route, and Rogan wasn't about to let him off the hook.
Come on, fight. Make it.
Come on, 20 seconds to walk. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
This rejection has done more than tarnish Jake's reputation. It has exposed the inherent weakness in his brand. For years, Jake has built his image as a fearless competitor, but this saga has shattered that illusion. Fans are now seeing him for what he is, a businessman more interested in promoting fights than proving himself as a genuine boxer. The question now is, Where does Jake go from here? Does he continue dodging real opponents, risking further backlash? Or does he finally face someone like Andrew Tate? The longer Jake avoids legitimate fighters, the more his reputation will suffer. Tate and Rogan have revealed cracks in Jake's armor that no opponent has managed to expose before. They've shown the world that Jake's tough guy persona is just that, a persona. Unless Jake changes course and takes on true challenges, his empire built on hype and half-truths will continue to crumble. The clock is ticking, and it's only a matter of time before the facade collapses entirely.
The best boxer on the planet is?
Jake Paul.
Why?
I mean, who's doing it?
I mean, if Mike Tyson says, let's do this, are you down?
100%.
I'm gonna make Mike my girlfriend.
Would you fight Mike Tyson? Again, no, because he's now old, and I would be an absolutely tragic shame to knock out an old version of his prime self. That doesn't feel fair. Prime Tyson would have ripped me apart in a boxing match, so to beat him when he's past his prime just feels dishonorable, and I'd feel dirty for doing that. So there's no amount of money on the planet that could convince me to fight.